Well, speaking of the NBA, for more than 50 years, Pat Williams has blazed a trail of innovation in the sports world. He has been the architect of world champion teams and signed some of the best players in the league. Recently, I had the opportunity to sit down with Pat and hear a little about his story and what he plans to do in his old age. Pat Williams. At first glance, he might look like your typical 74-year-old man. But look a little closer. While most people his age are retired, Pat is busy writing books, speaking to Fortune 500 companies, and serving as the senior vice president for the Orlando Magic. This basketball Hall of Famer has had great success in the sports world, but it all started 67 years ago.
I saw my first Major League Baseball game when I was 7, 1947 in Philadelphia, and I was absolutely transfixed by the sights and the sound and the smell and the color of baseball. And so now I wanted to learn about it, and so at birthdays and Christmas, I would always get books, and they would be baseball books. And, I would plow into them because I wanted to learn about this game, this sport that I had become so enamored with.
And his interest in baseball earned him a scholarship to play at Wake Forest University. After graduating, he began his professional career in the front office with the Spartanburg Phillies, but felt that something wasn't right.
I kept thinking, gosh, I'm having all this success and enjoying it, but there's still this empty feeling inside of me. I just don't really feel fulfilled. Is this really my mission on earth, to promote and put people in a ballpark? And, is that really why I'm here? And it was interesting, right at that period, a number of things happened. I kept running into Christian athletes, guys like Paul Anderson and Bobby Richardson, who were, very significant ball players and had a solid stand for Christ. They left a huge imprint on me.
It left such a large imprint on him when a friend gave him a booklet called The 4 Spiritual Laws. It changed his life forever.
I said, I've tried everything else, so let me give this a try. Well, you better mean business if you invite Christ into your life, because I followed all the instructions, and he came into my life in a powerful way.
After having great success, Pat moved on to basketball and became the general manager for the Philadelphia 76ers and then the Chicago Bulls. It was while there that he learned a life-changing lesson from a close friend.
We had good success. For 3 years, everything had just gone beautifully for me there. The 4th year, everything was not beautiful. I was just struggling with all sorts of issues, and my reaction was, Lord, what's going on here? I'm your boy down here, and why is this happening? Anyway, I asked if Dr. Wiersbe could come over for lunch, and I needed to talk, and so he asked me what was going on, and I told him, and then he said to me, Pat, don't waste your sufferings. Single best piece of advice I've ever gotten. What he really was saying was, take from these tough times every lesson you can. Don't waste this difficult time in your life, because on the other side of the difficulty, the sun's going to shine again.
And the sun did shine again, with his biggest achievements yet, as he returned to the 76ers as their general manager and helped them win the 1983 title. A few years later, Pat was asked to start a new NBA franchise, the Orlando Magic. The new team was thriving under Pat's leadership.
The Orlando Magic selects Shaquille O'Neal from Louisiana State University.
But in 2011, he would receive some devastating news.
Well, I'm sitting there in the office of Dr. Robert Reynolds, and they've done all the tests, and he sits me down. This is going to be the meeting that I'm going to find out. And he said, you've got multiple myeloma. And I said, what's that? I never heard of it. And he said, it's cancer. Boy, that'll clear your nostrils out real quick.
Multiple myeloma is the second most common blood cancer that develops in the bone marrow. It's an incurable disease that interferes with the production of all types of blood cells, causes bone loss and kidney failure. An estimated 77,000 Americans are currently living with myeloma. Less than half will survive 5 years.
It was quite an experience. There were some tears, and early on it was, Lord, why me? why me? You know, I guess that's natural. You know, I'm asking all these questions, and then I said, well, what is the goal here? What are we trying to accomplish, you know, with this news? And Dr. Reynolds said, we want to get this into remission. And then I kind of looked back at him and I said, so in other words, let me see if I've got this. The mission is remission. And he said, yeah. He said, that's good. That sounds good.
Pat's mission was remission, and 4 years later, he is cancer-free. He wrote a book about his story called The Mission is Remission. Now in his 70s and the author of over 70 books, Pat says retirement is nowhere in his future.
Well, my greatest interests are this basketball team. And my greatest interests are writing books and speaking and everything I'm doing and have been doing for decades. You know, that's my greatest interest. So why in your 70s would you just say, I'm packing it in and going to the beach? Gosh, I've probably got another 30 books I want to write. And that would be between age 75 and 95, let's say, something like that. So, I mean, I've got things I got to get done.
Thank you so much for bringing the team here. Thank you. Can I take a picture with you, do you mind? That's amazing.
William certainly is a man full of wisdom. I love the phrase that he said, don't waste your sufferings. I've never heard that before. That's something I'm going to have to meditate on. But not only does he appear to be full of wisdom, this man is full of life as well.
Yeah, he is full of life, and he didn't waste his sufferings, you know, writing a book about his cancer experience. And he's even gone on, like he said, to keep writing books. When he found out, when they told me he had cancer, he said, I had maybe only 2 or 3 years to live, but it didn't stop me. I was like, I got a lot to get done. I got to write more books. And he's just kept on going. And he doesn't see an end anytime soon. He says, you know, I'm at retirement age, but I'm not retiring anytime soon. So a guy to definitely look up to.
He wants to write 30 more books.
30 more books. He said at least 100. He wants to have at least 100.
We have a lot of catching up to do.